Throughout the year as we meet with folks, one theme that comes up over and over is how to raise their children to be grounded and responsible in the midst of abundance.
We have heard over the years that your number one concern is about how to prepare your family for the future, how to help your children and grandchildren navigate their affluence and ensure that you are passing on not only assets, but a legacy of values, stories, and giving. And that is why we invited Jolene to speak to us tonight, and we invite you to engage in conversation with her throughout the evening and with each other as well.
When families say, how do I talk to my kids about money? My answer is you don't. You talk about values. When we start kids with the values, everything else takes care of itself. The true wealth of a family isn't just tied up in the banks. It's in the stories of that family. It's in what you know. It's in your experiences. It's in who you know and how you're connected in your community. There are times when the culture is so profoundly overwhelming to families that it is so up against what you are trying to teach your kids, what you're trying to instill to build their character, that you have to find a community that's going to support you in some way. One of the things I love about talking to a group affiliated with something like the foundation is you have a built-in community. You have a built-in peer group right here. Your kids today are going to need deep knowledge. It turns out that entrepreneurial skill, or skills, I guess, are going to be the defining advantage for your children and grandchildren for the 21st century. Jobs and work, as we have known it, of course, are simply being transformed. Entrepreneurial skills mean that you're going to have to help your kids tap into whatever deep knowledge they can develop. And what we see is children who are encouraged in that way at a very young age have a much better shot and are much more prone to thinking in more resourceful, flexible, resilient ways than kids who are discouraged from pursuing their passion.
I thought it was really wonderful. I learned a lot, and I have 4 boys, so for me this was really educational and really eye-opening about how you can start teaching your children from a very early age. I was really impressed with the true wealth audit. I think it's a really valuable lesson to be able to look at wealth from that perspective, so it's not just capital in terms of money, but also your human capital and social capital and intellectual capital, and I think that that lesson would be really neat to start teaching your children really young.
Her ideas and beliefs about letting kids follow their passion, something that as a father-to-be I want to carry forward and instill in my own kids.
You know, the presentation with regard to how to raise financially fit kids was, I wished I had heard it years ago when our kids were younger, but I know that I'll take the information that I learned both back to my kids now, even though they're in their 20s, but more importantly to our grandchildren.
A key takeaway for us was that financial fluency, or as she sometimes calls it, financial parenting, really is a lifelong process. You do some with your family, you do some with your peers, and it really does take a community to raise financially fluent children in the context of your values.
We should all use the Greater Houston Community Foundation for a key word that's in its title, and that's community. So they can interact with each other, share ideas, share giving thoughts, and learn from each other how to best implement their philanthropic needs and goals.